Facebook. It's Sarah McLeodry from Synergy Behavior Solutions, and welcome today to our Facebook Live. We're going to talk about elevators, mainly related to how it works for apartment living dogs, but also in hotels, if you travel with your pets, things like that. Elevators are a big part of what you need to do, but we want to talk about some basic things that you can do to make dealing with elevators easier for you and your dog. So first, we're going to take a little trip to the land of make-believe. Think of Mr. Rogers and that, feeling that we get from Mr. Rogers. And we're going to go to our pretend elevator over here. So just a good reminder that you don't have to train in the actual situation. You can set up situations to train. Lindy says hello, and she would like to get the training going. So I'm going to put her leash on, and we're going to get started in our land of make-believe elevator here. All right, so first couple things we want to talk about when we talk about dealing with elevators with dogs is I call the no dog zone in front of the elevator door. So you don't want to stand here blocking the way for other people to come out. Besides that, it's rude. Lindy likes the fake elevator here. You're impeding the people's forward progress. If there's somebody who has a stroller or a wheelchair, they might need some more space. So I always want me and my dog to stand outside of the view of the elevator door. So depending on your situation, that could be that, in this situation, in my fake elevator, I might have my dog wait over here and block her way to that door while I'm waiting for people to come out. What's nice too is the way I'm standing here, just wait. I'm also keeping her from saying hello and greeting people walking out of the elevator. So nice job with a body block to the people coming out, while also keeping her engaged. And also you could obviously do the same on the other side. The other thing I'd like to work on is when we go through the door, so we put this pole on the ground as our fake door here, I would like her to check in with me so that she's not bolting through the door, going to say hello to somebody. So we're gonna, yes. Nice job. So she knew with me not going forward to check in. So we're going to wait until free. Yes, good job. Good. All right. So now thinking about when we're in the elevator, what do we want to do with our dog in the elevator? Ding, ding, ding. I press the button. So one of the best things that I love to do in elevators is peek. So this way my dog is actively in between my legs. They're not saying hi to other people. Just peek. I can reward my dog for hanging out here and staying here while we go up. It gives me a lot of control without having to physically control my dog. She likes this position. This is a position that we've trained a lot. So she could hang out here for a very long time. Also, what's nice is I've trained her to walk in this position. So we could actually walk out of the elevator like that if we needed to, which is another fun little trick with that. So you want to think about where can I stand in my elevator that's out of the way. So definitely when I go into an elevator with my dog, I do want to go to a back corner and hang out at the back corner with my dog. And I'm going to reward them the whole time we're in the elevator. I may give them some simple things to do to keep them occupied, to have them ignore the other people. So some hand targets, some chin targets. Good girl. I don't want behaviors that take up a lot of space. So even though she loves to back up, that's not a great behavior to do in an elevator. Much better to have her just sit and do our little hand targets, do some chin targets. And she can hold those for a little bit longer. Or like I said, the peekaboo behavior. Yes, good girl. The other thing we want to think about, too, is making sure on our end that our leashes are short. There's no need for your dog to be at the end of their leash. So imagine if we were walking into our elevator and my dog was at the end of her leash. I've actually seen videos where the elevator door has closed on that leash and the dog is stuck on one side of the door or the other from the person. And that is a deadly situation that you do not want. So making sure to keep your leashes short. This is not a time for loose leash and letting them go wherever they want, but just because your leash is short doesn't mean it has to be tight. Okay, you saw Lindy kind of tense up there. And so short leashes don't have to be tight leashes. Okay. Yay, good girl. Nice job. And so really thinking about other people's space. You're taking up part of the space in the elevator, but how can you minimize that space that you're taking up? So in this case, having Lindy's tail out is actually problematic because somebody may come in and not even be paying attention. Maybe they're on their phone or whatever. They've got a kid they're attending to. They might not even notice that her tail was in the way here. And so that's another reason why teaching, either having them sitting next to you in heel position or just, there you go. So that's good, the peekaboo. I even have worked on teaching dogs to hang out behind, so they stay behind you. If you have a dog who's maybe worried about other people or dogs, this is another great place, is just to keep them hanging out behind you. And that you give them a body block and a safe place to hang out. There you go, good girl. And I also am looking for, when I go out the elevator door, is to not bolt, because if somebody is waiting in that no dog zone, I want to make sure that my dog is nice and attentive. So we're going to come through. Yay, good. And I'm going to work on treats going through the door to make sure that we're safe, given our little safety checks, make sure nobody's there, and go ahead down the corridor. Because now imagine if you went to go out and there was another dog there or something, and maybe it's just better for you to stay in the elevator. So it might be a wait, make sure we're safe. Free. Good. And we do have not a ton of time when the elevator door opens, but we have enough time to go ahead and get that quick little safety check in. All right. So I hope that gives you some ideas of things that we can practice in the elevator to keep our dogs entertained. I'm going to come on back to the computer and see if there's any questions. Elevator, like I said, elevators are not just for apartment dogs. They definitely, I'm going to try to get into not the shade there. So I really work on making sure that my dogs have really good elevator manners, because I do a lot of traveling with my dogs, and I want to make sure that they're comfortable in an elevator, that they are not going to jump on people, really making sure that they're staying engaged and out of everybody else's way. You are in a public space in that elevator, and it is not everybody else's job to deal with your dog. I always get reminded of that. My mother is actually a little worried about dogs, and she probably actually wouldn't even walk into an elevator with another dog, with a dog present, unless it was a pretty small dog. So remember that not everybody wants to be your dog's best friend. And also, I put in a policy of no touching my dog in the elevator. I don't want my dogs to think that socializing with other people is what they do in an elevator. So I keep them very engaged on me. When I got Lindy as a puppy, I actually went to a nearby hotel and we practiced riding the elevator. It was a pet-friendly hotel, but we weren't even staying at the hotel. We just went over there and used their elevator to practice the concept of elevator riding and to get her comfortable as a socialization technique. Where I used to live in Illinois, we had a really great parking garage that was awesome to practice your elevator skills, because it only would go up 1 or 2 floors. So you wouldn't have a very long elevator ride, and it wasn't a super busy elevator. So a great place to practice all of those elevator manners and get those skills in for young dogs or new to you dogs. Elevators can be really scary for some dogs. They're trapped. It's a small space. And if they've never felt that feeling of the floor moving out from under them, so that's another thing to think about when you're on the elevator. So I hope I've given you guys some ideas on what to do with elevators. If you live in an apartment building, our rule is if there's another dog, or even in a hotel that's pet friendly, our rule is if there's another dog on the elevator, I wait for the next one. So that's just a safety reason. And go ahead and make sure that you socialize your dog to riding that elevator, and make it really worthwhile for your dog to hang out on there and be comfortable in that situation. We are running a whole webinar on Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific time about apartment dogs, called High Rise Hounds. So if you need more information on managing an elevator situation, or just how to manage living in an apartment with your dog, we have a whole webinar dedicated to that, because it can be a little tricky. And not every dog loves living in an apartment, but it doesn't mean you can go ahead and move into a big house just for your dog's comfort. There's lots of simple things that we can do to make that apartment living easier for you and your dog. So we'll go much more in depth in that webinar. Like I said, that's going to be on Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, and you can sign up at synergybehavior.com. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section here, and we look forward to seeing you guys soon. Bye.